Hi, everybody. Al Bernstein here with another one of my quick hits. And on this one, we're going to talk about the heavyweight division, which thankfully is now a very live topic of conversation for boxing fans and one that they are happy to engage in. Now, I spent the last couple of weeks very involved in the upper echelon of the heavyweight division. I was privileged to announce 2 heavyweight championship matches that have fueled this discussion about what will happen in the heavyweight division as we move forward. This past week, I did the fight between Deontay Wilder and Bermane Stiverne, a match in which Stiverne was put into the match because Luis Ortiz failed his drug test, and Stiverne, who had previously fought Wilder, stepped in as his replacement. It did not work out at all well for Bermane Stiverne. He was decisively knocked out in round number 1. Wilder came out with one thing in mind, and that was to knock Stiverne out, who was the only man who had gone the distance with Wilder previous to this. The level of resistance put up by Bermane Stiverne was extremely low, and to be perfectly honest, it was an abysmal performance by him. Having said that, clearly, for Deontay Wilder, though, to get a first-round knockout and do so in such a devastating fashion was exactly what he needed and exactly what I think boxing fans probably needed to help fuel discussion moving forward. You know, Wilder had told us, I can only control what I do in the ring. He's been devastated by several opponents, including Alexander Povetkin, who have failed drug tests and robbed him of big fights. Remember, he was going to Russia to fight Povetkin and was getting ready to literally go there when that happened. So you can't blame Wilder for that. And his theory was, all I can do is be spectacular. He was that in beating Stiverne. The week prior to that, I was in Cardiff, Wales, where Anthony Joshua, of course also a heavyweight champion, took on Carlos Takam, who was also a fill-in performer for Pulev, who had pulled out because of a shoulder injury. And so Carlos Takam was there to fight Anthony Joshua. It was an entertaining fight over the time that it lasted. Takam was durable and resilient, as we knew he might be. And even though Anthony Joshua hit him with some amazing punches, Takam was able to hang in there until finally the fight was stopped by the referee, which I thought was a quick stoppage, but I do believe that Anthony Joshua was likely to win that fight no matter what, and certainly was winning virtually every round, though he had slowed his pace a little bit at that point. So Anthony Joshua gets his win over Carlos Takam. It was in front of 70,000+ people in the soccer stadium, football stadium in Wales, and it was a remarkable scene. So now we move forward. We move forward to what the future will bring in the heavyweight division. And here's where I want to look into the lens and do an open letter to Anthony Joshua and to Deontay Wilder and to all the people involved with them on the promotional level. We know that the two of you are not likely to fight each other the next time out of the gate, though clearly that's what almost every boxing fan would like to see. But that's not likely to happen. What is likely to happen is you, Anthony Joshua, are probably going to fight Joseph Parker, who has another version of the heavyweight title, which, by the way, is a pretty interesting fight. And though Parker didn't look brilliant in his last fight and beating Yui Fury, he is a very legitimate person for you to fight. Okay, I get it. You and Eddie Hearn, your promoter, want to have one more big stadium fight or one more big, huge fight over there that will reap large pay-per-view numbers and will be yet another epic event. Okay, that's likely to happen. As for Deontay Wilder, he is probably going to fight Dominic Breazeale, who, though he was ranked 7 by the WBC, somehow his fight that he just fought became a mandatory title fight for him to be in that position to fight for a world title. It was a win for him. He got a knockout over Molina. And even though there were several other people, including Dillian Whyte, who were ranked higher than him, the WBC decided to pass over them and make this fight that he had with the number 11 contender the fight for the mandatory spot. Okay. So Dominic Breazeale, who has issues with you, Deontay Wilder, personally, becomes the mandatory challenger, and you will more than likely fight him, and that will be built up as a personal rivalry, and that will be the hook to that fight. Okay, I get all that. That's what's likely going to happen. But speaking on behalf of all boxing fans and everybody that loves the sport, in this little open video letter to you two, I am besieging you to not let it get past that point. Should you both win, it is incumbent upon both of you and the people around you to make the fight that everyone wants to see, which is Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. It is important that this fight happens in 2018 because that's what boxing fans need to see. It is what you two need because it will be the biggest fight you can possibly be in, will probably be the most lucrative, and is the right thing to do. And as a cautionary note, I will say 4 words that will demonstrate why this fight needs to happen. Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. They never fought. They should have fought. It wasn't made. There was, the fight was building. And it never happened. So you two need to fight each other, and you need to fight each other in 2018. Now, and this is especially true given the way boxing has operated in the last year and a half. Big fights have been made. The sport in 2017 has made some excellent, excellent fights. Most of the fights that people want to see are being made. And in 2018, we already, and I've got a separate quick hits video that talks about this, which you folks can check out here on our channel. And it talks about how many good fights already have been made in 2018 and how this trend seems to be continuing. So given the nature of what's happening in boxing today, and given the bad history of a couple of heavyweight matches never having been made that we should have seen made, you get your gimme, you get your pass on these next 2 fights. Not that they're gimmies. Joseph Parker's a good fighter. I don't know that Dominic Breazeale is in the same league as Deontay Wilder, but he'd like to prove he is. So you're going to get your next fights. After that, you don't get any gimmies. You don't get any mulligans. You have to fight each other. It's vital. Okay, moving on from that topic, I want to go back and revisit something that happened the week I was in New York. So when I was in New York at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn doing the fight between Deontay Wilder and Berman Stavern, there was a very big event happening at the Madison Square Garden, just miles away, and that was, of course, Georges St-Pierre and Michael Bisping in their big UFC fight. Now, why am I bringing that up here? For a couple of reasons. One, I admire Georges St-Pierre and for what he did in this fight. It was a remarkable achievement that he was able to come back and win that fight after almost a 4-year layoff and moving up in weight to take on a very tough opponent. But one of the reasons I'm bringing it up is it has a boxing tie to it. Freddie Roach, the Hall of Fame boxing trainer, worked with Georges St-Pierre and helped him prepare for this fight. And as it turned out, the Freddie Roach influence apparently was felt because the striking of St-Pierre was excellent. And the left hook and left hand that we can see evidence of here that was so much better for him was something that he credited Freddie Roach with helping him on. And clearly the Roach influence was there. So for Freddie Roach, stepping into just outside the octagon as opposed to the ring was a very, very good endeavor for him. And it turned out that he was very helpful to St-Pierre and helped him win what was a remarkable victory, as I said, after coming back from a huge layoff and stepping up in weight. So congratulations to George, and also congratulations to Freddie for their accomplishment. It was pretty remarkable. And we are seeing some of that cross-pollination from time to time with boxing coaches helping MMA fighters with their striking. So this is a perfect example of it. So we'll see you next time on our Quick Hits.